Hello crafty friends, welcome back to Jenny Love Journals. So I have a small haul for you guys today, but really cool stuff, and I'm super excited to show you guys. These were all purchased at, well, these both were purchased at a flea market, and then this pile of vintage magazines were purchased from a listing that we found, my husband and I, found on Facebook Marketplace, and we traveled to pick them up. Actually, my husband traveled to pick them up. But I'm super excited to show them to you guys because I am absolutely in love with them. But first, I want to show you guys the little things. This is a Royal Gothic set of playing cards. I think it's 2 sets of cards, actually. And they are pretty vintage. You can tell just by looking at the box and the cards themselves. But I don't see a date anywhere. Sometimes there's a date on these boxes. But these were made in West Germany, which is pretty cool. So there's like a blue deck and a red deck. And they're in this really cool case with some gold in there, which I love. And I just love the cards themselves. I love the design and just how vintage they look. Honestly, they look really vintage to me. I love the face cards. Look at that. And there's like a gold, I don't know if you can see that, but like a gold tinge to them. And then again, the backs, I love the back. Again, there's a red set and a blue set. I believe they're both the same as far as the way, yeah, they're both the same. Look at that. Super cool. As you guys know, I love vintage playing cards. I incorporate them quite a bit in my junk journal projects, put them in pockets and stuff like that. And then found this. At first I didn't know what it was. All I knew is that I wanted it because of how vintage it looked. It's called Write On, 50 Writing Ideas for Students and 70 Activity Suggestions for Teachers. Educational Insight. This says 1974 is the date. I don't know if you guys can see it there, but I can tell that it's been around for quite some time. And when you open it up, it has, let me zoom in for you. It has different sections for the teachers, which is like a writer's workshop, motivators, word power, flair for fantasy, holiday happenings, things like that. And they're basically cards that give, teachers ideas, teacher preparation for materials needed, setting up a writer's workshop. That's what like she would have the kids do, and this gives her like tips on how to get it going, basically. Mystery quest or mystery guest of the week. And there's a whole bunch of different ones in here. Like the holiday ones, they even get right into the holidays, like for Halloween, Witch's Brew, Goofus the Ghost, Turkey Talk, North Pole News, My Life as a Valentine, Dear President Washington, Meet Teddy O'Toole, Pass the Easter Bunny, Happy Birthday to You, the Halloween Spook House. I mean, it covers every holiday. And it shows what materials are needed, the preparation, the background ideas, and things like that, which I love. I think they're really cool. And then these are for like the students. Let's see, like this one right here is the Creepy Cave. Let's see if I can, there we go. Your best friend takes you to a secret cave. You start exploring the inside of it with a flashlight. The light becomes dimmer and finally goes out. You're trapped inside and cannot find your way out. Are you afraid? What will you do? What will happen to you and your friend? And that's basically like a task for the students to explain, are they afraid or not? What will they do? What'll happen? Things like that. So it's basically like a scenario of a story. And it gives, the students different ideas. There's a whole bunch in here, like this one, Wanted Dead or Alive. As sheriff of Dry Horse Gulch, you come across some notorious bad men. You have their wanted posters on your wall. Who are these critters? What are they wanted for? How will you capture any or all of them? So I think they're pretty cool. They were just like assignments for students back in the 70s, maybe 80s as well. And there's a whole box of them here. And I can definitely utilize these to make pockets, put into pockets, just incorporate in my journals. And I absolutely love these. All right, so let's go over to what I'm really excited about. And these are all, can I zoom out more? There we go. 1959 Saturday Evening Post magazines. And they're huge, as you can see. I don't know if, you know, if you were around back then and you remember getting these. Let's see, they're 14 inches long and 11 inches wide. That's how big these suckers are. And all of them except for one is 1959. I think one of them is 1960. But look at the, oh my gosh, look at these. Absolutely in love. Here we go. Here's one for 1960. And then the rest of them are 1959. They were only 15 cents. 15 cents back then. So I'm not going to open all of them, but I will tell you that they're really heavy. Like the paper is very thick quality, heavy paper. They're all protected in these plastic sleeves. I paid $25 for all 6 of these magazines. That was a steal. Like I said, these were listed in a Facebook Marketplace post. And she wanted $25 for all 6 of these magazines. Again, I'm not going to open all of them. You get the idea, but I'll open this one. This one is actually a December 12th one, so there is some Christmassy things in here. Chanel, I had no idea that they had Chanel in the 50s. Like, I had no clue. They even had, even cartons of cigarettes were decorated for Christmas. You wouldn't see that nowadays. I mean, I don't know. I quit smoking cigarettes like 8 or 9 years ago. I haven't smoked in years, but even when I did, they didn't do that. I just think that that's funny. But everything is in excellent condition. You can even still smell the ink, almost as if whoever had these magazines like never even looked at them. Like they just kept them preserved since they were printed, and you can smell the ink. They don't smell musty or old or anything like that, but you can definitely smell ink. And it's not too strong, like it doesn't give you a headache or anything, but they definitely, you can tell that they were definitely very preserved for many, many years. Whitman's chocolate. There's actually quite a few ads in here. Must be spoiled children's books. Sounds kind of like something we're going through nowadays. A lot of advertisements in here for things that exist nowadays that I had no idea existed then, like the Chanel perfume, for example. But there's also articles and stories, all kinds of stuff. A wife must know. Outwardly, their marriage seemed ideal, yet she has to put it to the test. Now, yes, I'm going to be cutting these up. I mean, that is what us junk journalers do when we get antique magazines and antique books and things like that. And I've explained in a couple of my videos why we do it. And, you know, why it's not as wrong as some people think it is. You know, because, I mean, there's people out there that have said to me, that, sorry about that, it was a phone call coming through. There are people out there that have said to me that, you know, how could you do that? Like, how could you take an antique or a vintage book or magazine and cut it up like that? And I always explain my motto. I'm not going to explain it again because I've explained it a couple times before in videos. But, you know, we have a good reason for it. And it gives it a second life. And like I said, I explained that before. But look at, I mean, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at how vibrant the colors are for the 50s, guys. The 50s. It's insane. One thing about this place, the commuting is good. Lots of like little comics. Look at the TVs. Look at the TVs. Oh my God. New Admiral Thin Man. TV that travels in style. It's like a travel TV. World's first portable with wireless remote control. Oh my gosh, I love this. Love this. There is a picture in, I don't know if it's in this, I know it's in several of the magazines that I've seen, and several of these. It's the same picture. It's for an advertisement for, I think, laundry detergent or something like that. And I want to use it for the cover of one of my future journals. And I'm wondering if I'll be able to find it flipping through. I don't know if it's in this one because this is a December one. So as you can see, they focus a lot on Christmas. There's Pepsi-Cola. There's even some really neat Coca-Cola ads in some of the other ones. Let me see. I don't know if it's in this one. Look at, they're all sledding. Oh my gosh. Love it. Look at the inside of airplanes. And one of these other ones, because my husband and I sat in bed last night and looked through all 6 of these. And in one of the other ones, it shows it's an actual picture. It's not just a depiction of the inside of an airplane. And they were huge back then. Like the insides of airplanes back then, you had so much room. And I'm assuming it's because not as many people flew back then as they do nowadays. Whenever I get on an airplane nowadays, I feel like a sardine in a can. Seriously. I don't know. You don't have any room. Like there's no room to sit. You're just like, I don't know. I don't know. The last time I flew, which was in June, and my husband had the window seat, I was in the middle, and the aisle seat was open, but we flew American Airlines. So as of right now, I guess they're changing it. I heard recently that they're going to be changing it and assigning seats. But as of right now, you can sit anywhere you want on an American Airline airplane. And this big guy, like not big this way, but just big, bulky, muscular, tall man sat in the aisle seat next to me. So here I am. My husband even offered me, he was like, do you want to switch? Do you want to switch? And I kept saying, no, because I didn't want my husband to be uncomfortable because he's, a big, bulky man too. And I was just like, I had no room. Like the guy that was sitting next to me, he kept taking my armrest. He even had his foot over on my side where my feet were supposed to go. Like he even had his foot over here. So I had to like maneuver my legs so that my feet were on my husband's side, and it was like a 3-hour flight. So by the time we landed, my legs were really cramped. No room, guys, no room on airplanes nowadays. So, but the funny thing, the ironic thing about that is on our way back home, this is when we flew to New York to be with family in June. And on our way home, flying back to Florida, we ended up on a plane that was only 30% full. So, and it was American Airlines, so we got to sit where we wanted. And my husband and I had a whole row to ourselves. Like he took the window seat and I took the aisle seat. And then the middle seat, we had like our snacks and our books and our cell phones, and we were just sprawled out. It was great. So it kind of made up for it. But anyway, the room on airplanes back then, there was just so much more room back then than there is nowadays. Yeah, that photo's not in this particular magazine, but check these out, guys. Check these out. I was so excited. My husband came across these and he showed it to me and he goes, is that something that you would want? And I was like, yes. So he arranged to pick them up, and he picked them up yesterday on his way home from work. Look at that. Christmas morning in the 1950s. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. And then last night, like I said, we just we watched a movie. We watched Radio. I love that movie. And we sat in bed and watched Radio and looked through these. But like I said, there's a bunch. Like this one's December 12th, 1959. Saturday Evening Post. So I'm assuming that these came out every Saturday. Because there's a couple that are of the same month. Or yeah, like right here, yeah, September 26th, 1959. September 5th, 1959. And again, they were only 20 cents. Here's August. This one's April, but 1960. And then April 18th, 1959. I think this is my favorite cover of all the covers. Now, I would love to use this to make a cover for a future journal, but it's huge. So it would have to be a big journal. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I won't be able to use any digitals. So I'm gonna have to use like pages out of magazines like this, scrapbook paper, you know, maybe gluing together dyed papers and things like that. But I definitely want to do that. And then of course I'm going to be able to cut out all of the advertisements and things. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. All of the advertisements and stuff like that I can cut out and store them to use as embellishing or ephemera and things like that. So anyways, I had to share this with you. The fact that I was able to land these magazines, I was so excited. And then these cards, oh my gosh, love them. It's a small haul, but an amazing haul. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a great big thumbs up. Share it out to any family and friends who you think would enjoy it, especially these magazines. If you think anybody would like to see these magazines, let me know. And if you guys want me to do a video where I flip through all these magazines, let me know as soon as possible, preferably, because I would, you know, want to do that before I start to cut into these. But if you want me to make a separate video solely with these magazines and just flipping through, I'd be more than happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. And like I said, I'll do that for you guys if you want. But anyways, thank you guys so much again for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Have a great day, guys.